Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Monday, January the 6th. Happy to have you in for another episode. If you've been waiting for news, there is no news. The news is that nobody is talking to anybody at this point in time, and that no official decision has been made on the future of the people that will be tasked with making the number one overall pick. It's kind of a hostage situation. It certainly feels like it, or at least it should feel like it for a fan base who's just generally looking for some direction here, generally looking for some level of, hey, can you just kind of give us a little bit of indication of what's going on? What's the plan? We've got the number one overall pick. Ooh, isn't that fun? Who's going to be making that pick? We'd like to know now, please. And yet still, there is pretty resounding, I don't know if silence can be resounding, but it does feel pretty resounding at this point in time for an organization that just desperately needs to show some level of competency at any level. At any level would be great. But instead, they choose to not even let you guys have 24 hours to celebrate the fact that you have the number one overall pick before they start to bother you with different things that would be just so easy to knock out and move on from if they were actually decisive in their ability to make decisions this way, which is kind of where we're sitting at right now. We're all just kind of waiting on pins and needles for Adams Strunk to pass on a statement from on high and tell us all what the hell this is going to be for the next couple of months as everybody tries to figure out. Is it a quarterback? Is it Travis Hunter? Is it going to be a pass rusher? Are you going to trade back? All these different things. Well, the thing that you must first have established is who the hell is going to be making this draft choice? And is it currently the people in place? Or are we going to be discussing a new front office regime? Browning says, but actually, what the hell is going on right now? I wouldn't even begin to try and tell you what the hell is going on right now, because this press conference today with Brian Callahan, most of it was routine. Most of it was pretty routine at this point in time with what we talked about, decisions that need to be made around the quarterback, all the different things on the roster, or all the different things that happened as a coaching staff that they kind of fell short on. And, there's certainly a lot of good information that is worth diving into on how Brian Callahan, as the coach of this football team, is going to try to improve things so that he is not 3-14 in season number 2 and not in a position where his fan base wants to see his football team lose games, because that's just how awful they were at this point in time. Chosen says, Buck, hearing a lot of chatter that Rand is going to be fired. What's the truth? Oh, I heard, I had so many texts last night saying, Rand's out, Rand's out, Rand's out. And I'm sitting around here today waiting for something official about Rand being out, and nothing happened. Like, it's been radio silence. Now, I don't think silence is a good thing necessarily, because I think it'd be very, very easy for her to put out a statement and be like, yeah, I'm going to stick with Rand Carthon, Brian Callahan, and the rest of it. Maybe she doesn't feel it necessary to make a statement because, some of you believe that neither of these individuals are actually on the hot seat, when that's not very true at all. There was decisions made on both of these gentlemen, or at least there was decisions made on one of these gentlemen, and the other one, for some reason, they just don't want to tell you whether or not they're going to stick with this person in Rand Carthon moving forward. Plenty of people think that he's going to get fired. I'll tell you this, because I was talking to some people offline in the organization today, and there was a message that I got that said things are happening internally. It's tough to tell if it's people preparing for Rand news or a business restructure that they're preparing to announce tomorrow. So that is something that's kind of hanging in the balance. Will they announce that they're making a general manager change in the midst of doing a business side restructuring? I have no idea. I don't know what this organization thinks, because I don't know what Adams Strunk thinks. None of us do. There's nobody that can definitively tell you what the hell this person has going on in their lives right now, or what decision they're going to make. All you can do is look at her previous situations. You can look at her pattern of behavior. You can identify potentially trends as far as who she is and how she goes about her business. And this is a unique situation, because she has been known to kind of freeze people out before she gets ready to get rid of them. And today's press conference with Brian Callahan kind of felt like people were getting frozen out But Callahan has such good bedside manner that it wasn't as abrupt as, for example, not even letting Mike Vrabel conduct an end of season press conference last year and then waiting a day after Black Monday to ultimately make the decision to fire him. So there are so many different things going on here that I cannot explain, but she's essentially holding you guys hostage with her decision making. And that, I think, is unfortunate at this point in time. So Josh Sabata says Buck seems to have, or Brinker seems to have some control. Yeah, no, he got a position. He has a position over Rand Carthon. He's the president of football operations. That's the thing that for some reason enough people were just like not really interested in talking about, the fact that the general manager is actually below the person that used to be his assistant general manager. And for some reason that was just kind of glossed over in all the organizational things that they did this year, but that's fine. We're here to work through some of it and talk about how you feel about this. Because I can't give you news at this point. News is not there yet to be made, or not yet there to be discussed. All we have is rumblings and rumors and how fans feel about it. So that's exactly what we're going to work through tonight. Before we get started, I need you guys to share the broadcast around Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. Wherever you are live streaming the show, we would be very appreciative if you shared this broadcast around Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, like I mentioned. If you're hanging out on Twitter, please retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're on Facebook Live, you can share. You can share now to public. That's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. If you are on YouTube or Twitch, like the video, subscribe to the channel while you're here. Thanks for hanging out. It's going to be a fun, certainly interesting offseason. I don't know if it's going to be a good offseason. I don't necessarily trust your football team to make good decisions, to be honest with you. But, certainly we'll be here to work through it and talk about it and react to it ourselves as we talk about what the hell the Tennessee Titans, whatever direction the Tennessee Titans seem to be heading in, because, frankly, I think they're a bit directionless at this point in time. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the Zen Sports Studios. I'm your host, Buck Rising. I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. TwoRiversFord.com for more info. Buy Zen Sports promo code ATOZTN that you see here right over my shoulder. Get you in on all the action, up to $100 on your no-danger first wager at Zen Sports. Buy True Math Fitness in the Gulch, where your first workout is free as a Middle Tennessee resident. No workout ever recycled or repeated. TrueMathFitness.com for more info. And by the Bart Durham Injury Law Firm. The results that you deserve. Visit them online at bartdurham.com for all of your big truck or motorcycle claim needs. So with everything that's going on right now with the Tennessee Titans, Brian Callahan gave a press conference today. And one of the things that was discussed was not only has the head coach been sent out there to speak on behalf of the organization, but the head coach has not yet talked to the general manager, and he's not really sure about what's happening. He's aware of all the speculation at this point in time, and he's saying, until somebody tells me otherwise, I'm operating a status quo. I'm just going to shut up and let you hear from Brian Callahan about this. But first, I'll ask you your Two Rivers Ford take, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch. What is your approval rating for Amy Adams Strunk? Do you approve or disapprove of the direction that Amy Adams Strunk is taking the Titans in right now? Approve or disapprove is the question. You can give your answer with a little more context if you'd like in the comment section. It's presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, online at TwoRiversFord.com, where they make the car buying process fast, easy, and more fun. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet. In fact, I'm thinking about going out to Mount Juliet tomorrow to get my car taken into their service department, because they win awards for their customer service and for all the great many things that Two Rivers Ford has been providing their customers for over 40 years here in Middle Tennessee. TwoRiversFord.com for more info. Brian Callahan was asked about, what direction he thinks this thing is heading and if Rand Carthon is a part of that direction. Then he was asked a question about the offensive line, which is not really important for the purposes of our specific discussion tonight. The third question that you're going to hear included in this, it's a three-part question and answer sequence. The first one matters enough. The second one, I'm sure we'll talk about many times this offseason, because God knows they still need offensive line help. But pay attention to how he answers the third question that he's asked in this particular sequence.
Ryan and Chad are back in their current roles as in that?
Again, I've been focused solely on the players getting out of the building this week. I know that's all the conjecture out there. Until someone tells me differently, yeah, I do. But again, I haven't had those conversations with anybody yet. I've been in my office meeting players all morning. So anything else that's out there, I wouldn't be aware of. So other than that, I expect business as usual.
Okay, that's
The
one.
offensive line this year and the way it played, how much different could things look next season?
As far as the offensive line,
Right.
yeah. Well, I think it's a really big opportunity for JC to continue to improve. I thought he played really well over the course of the season, and it's a really important offseason for him. To really take that next step and be the caliber of player I think he's capable of. The guy that doesn't get probably nearly enough credit for his improvement is Peter. Peter really played well this season. I'm really happy and excited about him. So that I feel very good about that part of it. Lloyd's coming off his injury. But I think the guys that stepped in for him did a nice job. Danny Brunskill and Corey Levin both did some good things. And then obviously our right side, Dylan's a free agent. And, we'll see where that goes. And then we need to get a right tackle. I would ultimately see you're probably going to, for sure see a new right tackle here in some way, shape, or form. You might see a few, depending on how that shakes out again early in the process. But I would see that we're definitely going to have to add more players up front in whichever way they come, free agency and the draft, to continue to build the line. Because from the center on left, I feel really good about it. And then from right guard and right tackle with a pending free agent, we're going to have to find ways to keep improving that. But I like the growth that we showed. I like the things we did improve on. And it's a group that I think can improve even further and pretty rapidly, I think, as we add some more to it.
That's two.
What's the conversation like after yesterday with Amy, and what did she want to know about your plan moving forward, and what did you want to impress to her about your plan?
I haven't had that conversation with her yet. That's upcoming. Again, this morning has been focused on the players and getting everybody out of the building with the exit interview. So that might be for another day. But yeah, that meeting will come.
I'm sorry. You haven't met with ownership yet? Not even, I mean, it's fine to have a more formal meeting, but the question was about a conversation. You haven't even had a conversation with ownership yet? It's one of the more, I mean, it's a quick answer. He doesn't play it up or make a big deal out of it or whatever. But every one of us sitting around in that press conference looked around at each other after he answered that question that way and said, she sent him up there blind after basically doing the same thing to Rand Carthon, after she fired Mike Vrabel and didn't appear to answer questions for it, but sent Rand out there in a press conference that was awful, just terrible for Rand, because he had no ability to speak on behalf of ownership for one of the most consequential decisions that the organization has made in the last decade. What do you mean you haven't talked to ownership yet? She's just going to leave you out there hanging in the wind? I had some people send me some messages today on social media about, is this concerning, or are you concerned about this at all? And I didn't really have to think about it too hard. The idea that after 3-14, that Amy hasn't talked to you yet, when you have the number 1 overall pick, when there's speculation out there about whether or not your front office is going to be back, how on earth are you, as Brian Callahan, who's just up there taking all the slings and arrows all year long? Rand Carthon has not done press conferences. Obviously, Chad Brinker has not done press conferences. Sure as hell, Amy Adams Strunk is nowhere to be found. How on earth are you going to send this man up there with zero guidance on your behalf for your football team when there are so many pivotal things, so many pivotal questions to be asked about the direction that this thing is heading, and you're just going to send him up there blind? We talked about red flags with Titans ownership last night in particular, and why, I don't trust them to make good decisions at this point. Amy Adams Strunk has been a good owner when she took over and helped save this thing from total irrelevancy and helped turn it around and made good hires and allowed for there to be a stable organization for the better part of 6 years, I would say. Since then, though, these last 3 have just been an unholy cluster. Am I missing something? Says MB. It's only Monday, and today was about the players. That's probably why things happen on Tuesday. No, most things happen on Monday for organizations who are 3-14. Most things happen on Monday for organizations whose front office structure is up in the air. There is nothing wrong with the owner having a quick call, as she has done basically after every other game this season, to our understanding, after every other game this season, with the coach, knowing that he's going to get up there and speak on behalf of the future of your franchise. that doesn't even warrant a conversation. I think that is batshit crazy. I think it's completely insane. I think that if you needed additional information to make you think that this franchise is lacking true direction and frankly leadership at the very, very top, at the person who owns this thing, at the person who runs this thing, that's just another piece of evidence for your argument. What the hell are you doing? What could possibly be more important than having a quick, just a brief conversation? Hey, how are things? What's the vibe right now? Miss Amy, how are you feeling about the direction that these things are heading? Because I've seen a lot of speculation out there on social media. Adam Schefter's saying that I'm safe, but I'm not really sure because I haven't necessarily heard it from you yet because we haven't had a conversation. It'd be really nice to have a conversation about all this before I get up there for a half an hour and field questions from reporters who are basically knives out, all of us, about the direction that this organization is heading and whether these are the correct people to do it and whether the people that's hired them to do this job, whether the person who hired them to do this job is going to have any level of accountability for what the hell happened here at all. I am so mind blown by the lack of direction and leadership that has been consistently shown over the course of these last 2 years in particular. And I think it's a horrific reflection on the person who owns this thing, on Amy Adams Strunk. She's never going to do the press conference thing. She doesn't have to. She doesn't have to answer questions from media. She doesn't have to put out a statement. She doesn't have to do anything that she doesn't want to do with this team because it is, at the end of the day, as we talked about yesterday, her team. I don't think there's anything wrong with being just the slightest bit more respectful to your employees and frankly to your fan base by letting this shit just hang over your head like a bad smell, hovering in the air after, your fan base finally got something to enjoy, finally got something to celebrate. The number one overall pick matters. It can change your future as a franchise. Or if you screw it up, it can continue this cycle of stupidity that this franchise has been in for basically the last, I'd call it 3 years. I have no idea what their plan is. And it doesn't matter to them if I know what their plan is, but it should matter to them that you don't have any idea what their plan is because you are the people who are placing your trust in her to do right by you on behalf of the organization that you love. It's her team, but you root for the logo. And at a certain point, there is some level of accountability that is owed to fans. It's not just because I'm more interested in hearing people answer questions about what the hell is the plan here, guys? What are we doing? Take this thing seriously. Let me know that you're taking this thing seriously so that I can believe in the direction that you're heading. It doesn't matter whether I believe in the direction that they're heading or not, but it matters that you do. Because you have to make a decision as to whether you're going to support her decision making or not. And I don't know how on earth anybody could look at this situation and say, yeah, you know what? I feel good about this. I feel fine about the direction that this is going. I feel confident that these people are going to be empowered to make decisions on her behalf. I don't even know if they're going to retain their front office staff based on the idea that they've just let it hang out in the air today. And like I said, maybe she doesn't even feel the need to say anything. Maybe it's just going to roll the whole thing back. And what do you mean we needed to make a statement about the front office and the head coach? Well, it does matter when Adam Schefter is on national television saying he thinks Brian Callahan is safe. But there's plenty of unhappiness from ownership, and there could be changes made organizationally, but he's not exactly certain where those changes or when those changes are going to come. Direction. Just direction. I don't know how anybody who is a fan of this team could feel good about her at this point in time, because you can have started out as a good owner. But as we talked about yesterday, John Robinson started out as a good general manager, and then he lit the franchise's future on fire. Amy Adams Strunk has more power than John ever did to implode the franchise that many of you love and that many of you support and that many of you want to see succeed. But I can't wrap my head around on why she wouldn't just do the easy thing, which is say, hey, this is the direction that we're heading. This is why we're going to do it. Or this is why we're going to make changes based on what I've seen this year. Show us some level of a plan. And by us, I mean you. Because like I said, it's my job to, figure it out and give you the information and try and get as much information for you as humanly possible. But not a single solitary soul can tell you what's going on in Amy Adams Strunk's head right now. And the idea that it's been this difficult to just make up her mind on the front office, which makes me not feel confident about her level of confidence in the people that are going to be tasked with making the number one overall pick on behalf of your franchise. Oof. That's ass. Not AAS, but ASS. That's ass. So, with everything that's going on right now, the question that I pose to you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch is this: do you approve or disapprove of the direction that this franchise is heading in at this point in time? Let me know. We'll talk about it together right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Go to GaryAshton.com. Get your dream address without the stress. Get the intel edge you need to succeed from the Ashton team. In fact, Bert, can you pull from the Twitter group that Adam Schefter clip that was sent a couple of days ago? That would be most appreciated. I should have thought to ask you to do that beforehand, but we will get that for people here in just a second. So do you approve or disapprove on the direction that this thing is heading? MB says you can't fire Carthon without firing Callahan because he hired him. Oh, no, she very much can. She's done it before. Hell, I don't even know that Brian Callahan giving a press conference today exclusively means he's safe, because she's done that before to Mike Mularkey. Mike Mularkey lost a playoff game on a Saturday after winning the first playoff game for the franchise in 14 years, got up to a podium on Sunday, was asked specifically about did he, on a variety of different questions, including, and this was after he had the meltdown, where he said he did not feel supported by ownership or the general manager. So maybe the writing was already on the wall for Mike Mularkey in ways that it's not for Brian Callahan, because Brian Callahan he's done quite the opposite of taking her out publicly when asked questions on that front. But she did allow Mike Mularkey to conduct an end-of-season press conference, and then she turned around and fired him the next day. She didn't allow Mike Vrabel to give an end-of-season press conference. She waited the Monday after, and then she waited until Tuesday morning, and then they had a 2-minute meeting with her and the team president, Bert Nighill, in which they fired Mike Vrabel. But I don't know that Brian Callahan even giving a press conference today exclusively means that person's safe, because, again, I don't trust her decision-making, and she's got a track record here. There's so many different ways that this could go, and nobody really knows what direction she's going to head and who is influencing, if anybody is capable of even influencing her decision making at this point in time, because Steve Underwood, the longtime general counsel for Bud Adams and for Amy Adams Strunk, and then team president, was a very, very good stabilizer for that organization for a long time. And he had retired twice from that organization, but this time has been more permanent. And I don't know that anybody else is capable of being that level of buffer for her and her decision-making to keep her from doing things that are rash. So if you're the owner, Ryan, if you're the owner and you really believe that Brian Callahan and Rand Carthon are the right people to take this thing into the future, all it takes is a couple words on an internet statement for you to put out and for you to put all of this to bed, instead of letting this just all sit out there and rot the way that your season rotted. And, you were nowhere to be found on that front. The way that your franchise has fallen off a cliff to the point where I really believe that the Tennessee Titans had something going there for a while. I really believe that they could win a Super Bowl under Amy Adams Strunk. I've never had more questions about that than I do right now, based on the behavior of late, based on just the lack of presence around all of this. And I have no question that she's involved with the organization and that she wants to win and all these different things. Like, I don't think she's an absentee owner. But again, on behalf of you, she's being disrespectful to you as the customer and not just telling you, hey, here's what we're doing and here's why. It's very simple. It should be very simple. And if it's not as simple as that, why you can't articulate that vision and plan, then that tells me that you don't have a plan at this point in time. Browning, let's see. Steve Jones says Amy is waiting for Vrabel to get hired, so he's off the books and fire Callahan. No, you wouldn't wait that long, because the cycle is going to kick up too quickly. This is the clip from Adam Schefter that was put out earlier in the week. In fact, it was put out yesterday morning while we were doing the League Company Countdown to Kickoff, on the status of Brian Callahan specifically, but then hinting at some organizational changes without saying by name Rand Carthon.
Is the AFC South. This is where we're going to get the most activity. It's volatile right now. And Tennessee is sitting there with a 3-13 record. They're in contention for the number 1 overall pick, and the owner is not happy about it right now. Now, Brian Callahan was just given a start, and I think he'll be given more time. But it certainly sounds like the people in the organization are uneasy and bracing for something to happen. It doesn't sound like, right now, it involves Brian Callahan, but we're going to see what the owner has to say about that. We're leaning safe right now. Shane Steichen, the Indianapolis Colts coach, again, another place where there's tremendous disappointment.
So that is Adam Schefter hinting at the lack of satisfaction from ownership and what that potentially could mean. He said he's leaning safe for Ryan Callahan. This was, of course, before the final game, before they had locked up the number 1 overall pick, and that's where the Tennessee Titans are at this point in time. It is a fascinating thing it's fascinating on a couple of fronts, but it's kind of morose, to be honest with you at this point. Just tell people what you want to do. It's not that hard. What's the big state secret on whether or not you're going to keep these people that are going to be tasked with making the pick for your franchise's future? Unless you're still having people make up your mind or help you make up your mind at this point in time, which in reality tells me that you don't actually believe in what's being done here, even after you made these sweeping changes and put all these people in place. Woof. Raven Sims says, Amy, the type that will fire you, but everybody else knew you were getting fired. T-Mac says, y'all can't really believe any rookie quarterback can develop behind this offensive line right now. Well, that's what they're tasked. They're tasked with fixing not just the quarterback, but the offensive line situation as well. Ryan Ward says, what team do you actually cheer for, Buck? I don't cheer for an NFL team. I don't care about NFL teams that way. That's, the NFL is my job. I very much enjoy covering football. I don't have a football team. Actually, I'll take it back. I'm rooting for Derrick Henry to win the Super Bowl. I would like to see a Ravens-Eagles Super Bowl. I'm going to call it the John Robinson Bowl because I would like to see those two players succeed because they are going on to do great things, and I very much enjoyed them during my time covering them, and I would love to see the Baltimore Ravens win a Super Bowl with Derrick Henry, or I would love to see the Philadelphia Eagles win a Super Bowl with A.J. Brown, because those are two good players who this organization, one who was traded away, the other one who was ready to go because he was tired of them wasting his time here and is now, hopefully for his sake, going to go on an extensive playoff run and potentially get the thing that he's not had on his, I would almost argue it's a first ballot Hall of Fame resume anyway in Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry with any kind of winning of consequence beyond that 2019 AFC championship game run would be a Hall of Famer. So yeah, I'm rooting for the Ravens and the Eagles at this point in time, and I'll root for whatever team. It's fun for me to get to. I've never been able to be a Derrick Henry fan before, and now I can, and I very much enjoy it. And I think he really looks good in purple and black, and I know that drives a lot of you crazy. But yes, I will declare myself for both the Ravens and the Eagles at this point in time, which I know is going to make many of you sick. It's only Monday. The season just ended yesterday. Yeah, but every other organization put out statements today. Who else made statements today about what they're doing and what their plan is? The Colts, who are a joke of an organization, who are an even bigger joke for keeping Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard in place. They made a statement telling you what they're doing and why. The Jacksonville Jaguars put out a statement. Again, a joke of an organization, an even bigger joke for keeping Trent Baalke and firing Doug Peterson at this point in time. But either way, they told you what they were doing and why they were doing it. The Miami Dolphins put out a statement today. The New England Patriots put out a statement yesterday. All of these organizations who had any lack of clarity for their fan base about what they're doing and what they're doing or what they're not doing and why they are heading in the direction that they're heading, they took the time to have the courtesy to inform their respective fan bases of their plan. And yet this one is just sitting around, I don't know, doing what? Watching it all play out on social media? What meetings are more important than the future of this franchise and the people involved with making those decisions on behalf of the franchise? It beats the living shit out of me. I couldn't possibly wrap my head around why everybody else could do this with such ease and put, at least give their fan bases decisiveness, give their fan bases a decision, whether they agreed with the decision or not. You don't have to agree with the decision that's made. Just tell them what the decision ends up being. But that's not what this organization is doing. They're just going to let it hang out there in the wind, and maybe they'll tell you what they're going to do. Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't do anything at this point in time. That's what it is. Michael, Adam, I don't know what Michael Adam Ike says, you think because 5 bottom tier franchises went to social media, she needs to do so also? What for, Buck? To please you? No, it's for you guys. Listen, I could give a shit. I mean, other than, I'm annoyed by them at this point in time. And I think they're directionless and, kind of unserious at this point in time. And I would really rather not waste time with the level of discourse around this stuff. I'd rather know what they're doing, but no, that's not for me. I don't give a shit. I go about my day and just keep checking my phone I went to Pilates today. I was checking my phone during my Pilates session to make sure that I didn't miss any texts, calls, or tweets about, are they going to do it? Is she going to do it? Or is Rand Carthon coming back? Is Chad Brinker going to be the general manager here? All this rumbling that was going on at that point in time about what she may or may not do. And then all for it to go dead silent today for what? Just make a decision. Just make a decision at this point in time. B. Fred says, Buck, will you go to the draft this year? No, I never go to the draft. We always cover it at the facility. And sure as hell, I don't want to go to Green Bay. I'd be happy to just do it at the facility and do the press conferences there after the fact. With everything that's going on at this point in time, Bavin says the team is so bad it doesn't even matter. No, it does, because it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. If you are a well-run organization, you should have some level of confidence that they're capable of putting it back together. Molten Metal says Amy is too busy trying to troll the Texans with old Houston Oilers stuff. That's fine. You're 0-2 against she's 0-2 against the Houston Texans wearing those Oiler uniforms. She has to be horribly, I would hope that she's horribly embarrassed about the fact that she keeps trying to embarrass them and she hasn't been able to get one over them, which may or may not be why she's holding out her decision. I can't imagine why that one game would make that big of a decision in who she keeps or who she moves on from. But I think it's nonsense. I think, MB says Buck seems madder than we are. Maybe he is a Titans fan. No, I think you guys, I really do. I think you guys deserve better. Like, I know we disagree on a lot of things sometimes, not all of us, you and me and everybody else that works through these things and the radio show audience and all these other things. But I just think you deserve better. No, you couldn't pay, especially after the way that all of this stuff has been handled. No, you couldn't pay me. There's not enough money in the world to make me a Titans fan. I would never tie up my emotional investment in that organization based on the way that they're run. I would never, ever do it, no matter how much I like the Houston Oilers uniforms, because I do believe that the best uniforms in all of sports. But no, please, if you made me pick a team, it would 100% be Baltimore this year, because I'm actively rooting for Derrick Henry to win a Super Bowl. No, I'm good. You guys can keep them. Let's see. Chris Frazier, or rather Bobby, says because they're not going to do anything, everybody chill. Listen, they may not, but I think that it's still weird that they wouldn't just say that. Yeah, we're going to keep things in-house. We understand why it didn't go to plan this year. We understand that you had higher expectations. We understand that we had higher expectations. But this is why we believe in what they're doing. MB says, thanks, Buck. We appreciate you saying we deserve better. You can think that's disingenuous. You can believe me or not believe me on that front. But like, I deal with a lot of you guys. I really enjoy you guys for the most part, even when we shit talk one another and we go back and forth from time to time. But man, I think this is nonsense. I think this is total nonsense. Paul Guerra says, how the F are you still covering the Titans? Because they pay me really well. Because I get paid really well to do this job, and I love Nashville. And I love my house here, and I love my friends here, and I really do love my job. But the fact that they've made me, really, I mean, it's never felt like a job until this season. It really never has. You guys know how much I enjoy. Nobody enjoys being me more than me. I think you guys know that at the end of the day, because I'm an ego monster. But because I'm an ego monster, I can identify where ego and pride exist in other people. And what I'm looking at is somebody who may or may not want to admit that she got some things seriously wrong in the process of getting to 3-14. And I just can't understand why it's so difficult to do what Bob Kraft did today, which is to say, I screwed up. I put Gerard Mayo in a bad position. I understand that I fired him and that he doesn't get to fire me because I made a mistake here. But Bob Kraft came out today and said, I made a mistake. It's on me. We put that coach in a bad spot. He needed more experience before being a head coach, and then gave a press conference where he answered questions. I think the Jags are a joke of an organization. And Shad Khan still did a call with media today so that media could ask him questions that fans deserve to get the answers to, because the Jags are a joke of an organization. And the Titans can't even be bothered to do that. It's just nonsense. It's total nonsense. Somebody that's just called thus says, not these fans do not deserve better. Well, I mean, you can fight amongst yourselves if you want to, but I don't know. I really, really do. I really, really do think that you guys deserve better. I really, really do. Jaquan says, Buck, honestly, I don't know why people give you so much shit. It's my tone. I have bad tone. I have, my tone has been bad my entire life, and I've got attitude problems for sure. And, sometimes I get hyperbolic. Sometimes I get too ahead of myself. Coach Max says, keep your powder dry in these situations. And for the most part, I'm not very good at that. But yeah, I mean, I deserve a lot of the shit that I get. Trust me. It's earned. But I really, like I said, I really do like working for you guys. I have thoroughly enjoyed. I'm coming up on a decade in Nashville in August. It's going to be a decade. And I'm just tired of seeing so many of you so damn miserable. It's been miserable. For 3 years, it's been miserable. And at the end of the day, yeah, the roster's in bad shape, but I'm tired of hearing people just default for giving them the excuse of, well, it's the players, it's not us. Look how bad the players are. And yeah, the players have been, the roster construction has been poor for quite some time now. But now you've spent as much time blaming the roster construction and the players as you have, or as the person who put this roster in the position to spent taking this roster down the way that John Robinson did. At a certain point, it's on you. Why haven't you been able to make it better? That's your job. The players are here because they were drafted here. The players are here because they took contract situations. The players are here because there's no state income tax. But it's your job to make sure that they improve, that they develop, and you failed them on a variety of different fronts. And 2 full off seasons, of which the quarterback, the quarterback that washed out this year, and Will Levis, that you were a part of, that you decided to build around, that you decided to put your name behind when you included him in your statement when you fired Mike Vrabel. That's arguably as big a setback as anything that John. I mean, it's not as big a setback as anything that John did. John did a lot of bad shit towards the end, but you get my point. You get my point. You guys have been miserable for too long now. And there are plenty of better NFL organizations that treat their fan bases better. And this one, I think, based on not just the fact that they've disappointed you on the product side of things, but are also asking you for a shit ton more money for a new stadium, I think you deserve better. That's just my opinion. So now the question on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. In the comment section, Bert, if you would send me the second question at your convenience, I would greatly appreciate it. At this point in time, as we work our way through whatever may come of the Tennessee Titans organization, like I said, maybe they do something, maybe they don't. The fact that nobody knows or nobody has an answer or nobody can find out any information, no matter how well-sourced they are, or no matter how inside the NFL they are, I think is pretty damning at this point in time. But are Amy Adams Strunk not meeting with Brian Callahan before today's press conference? How do you feel about it at this point in time? Let me know, fair or foul, in the comment section. That was not included in the tweet, Bird, if you want to make that correction. At this point, fair or foul, if you would be kind enough, Amy Adams Strunk not meeting with Brian Callahan before today's press conference. Let me know in the comment section, and we will discuss at length together. Sean, we'll get into your answers right after I remind you that the Primetime program made possible by TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch. Your New Year's resolutions, if you're still sticking to them, TrueMav is an excellent place for you to get that done. TrueMav Fitness in the Gulch is the best place for you to get that workout in, for you to feel empowered about the direction that your fitness is heading, whether you're doing it for your physical fitness, whether you're doing it to improve your tone, whether you're doing it to improve your conditioning. TrueMav Fitness will always go above and beyond to put you in position to succeed. TrueMavFitness.com for more information. The best workout in Middle Tennessee is at TrueMavFitness.com. Okay, so fair or foul? Amy Adams Strunk not speaking with Brian Callahan before he gave a press conference today. Fair, says Ken, if everyone keeps their jobs. William Young says, Buck, I've been a fan since 1978. Why do you think I'm on medications all these years for mental health? Well, I hope you're well for the most part, William, and I hope that your football team is not impacting you too much. Craig Baxter says foul. Cole says beyond foul. It's the same as Rand talking on Vrabel firing when he wasn't even in the room. I think that is such bullshit. Again, she has a pattern of behavior here, and I think at a certain point you have to be held to account. And she doesn't have to be held to account, but I think that there should be continual public pressure public pressure, private pressure on her to be accountable for the decisions that are being made here. MB says, I think it's fair. Maybe Rand should have spoken to him. Maybe that's fair. They're more than welcome to reach out to one another. For some reason, neither of them did, it sounds like, or neither of them did in an official capacity, though, again, that signals a bit of disconnection about the direction that this collaborative thing is supposed to be headed in, right? Mr. Stokes says, is that what your tweet was about earlier? Yeah, no, I think they're Bush League. I think they're Bush League for sending Brian Callahan out there without having talked to his general manager, his front office, without being assured that his front office was either in or out, and without hearing from ownership. I thought it was complete and total Bush League. I thought, again, it's disrespectful to the people who are paying money to continue to show up to their games, for those people who are still foolish enough to show up to their games under the impression that they're actually trying to win. I no longer think that winning is the most important thing. I think she's trying to sell. I think she's trying to market. And I think that's not what football is supposed to be about, though some organizations do treat it that way, and they're money-making machines. So who am I to judge, I guess? Ryan Ward says, who do you want her to replace these guys with? And don't say Ben Johnson. He wouldn't even come here for an interview last year. Listen, I would take any number of people. I would be fine with Thomas Dimitroff, the former general manager of the Atlanta Falcons. I would be fine with Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens. I'd be fine with Cliff Kingsbury, the current offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. I'm good with retreads. I think retreads are important. I think retreads understand all the pitfalls that a first-year head coach is currently having to work through. And I think Cliff, might be a better version of himself the second time around, the way that I think Mike Vrabel is going to be a better coach no matter where he lands the second time around. I think that Dan Quinn is a better coach the second time around. I think that there's something really valuable with retreads, even though people don't seem to like them, because there is valuable experience to be gleaned from trying one of these opportunities and failing. Or maybe you succeeded for a period of time, but then you started to make mistakes too, because not everybody sustains a high level of performance all the way through the entire time that they're in whatever job that they're in. So I would take a great many people. It doesn't have to be Ben Johnson just because that's the person's name that you hear over and over and over again. And you're right, he did decline an interview with you. The top coaching option on the market last year said, no, I'm good. I'm all set. That's not a job that I want. And a person with option, that's, again, such an indictment of this organization and the place that they have put themselves in with mistakes year over year over year, that Adam Peters, the arguably the best general manager prospect on the market 2 years ago, also declined an interview with them, waited around and took the Commander's job because they had a clean slate. You have the number one overall pick. You have a clean slate to offer people. I think that you could make this job the most compelling that it's ever looked. If you wanted to, if you really wanted to clean house, I think you've got a variety of different options at your disposal. Don't sleep on an NFL job with that leverage of the number one overall pick. There's a great many people who would be interested in that. MB says, I'll bet that Ben Johnson is a bust as a head coach. Yeah, this shit's hard. Look at Brian Callahan. I don't doubt that Brian Callahan's a good football mind or a good football coach, but he's been a bad head coach in his first year. And that's it, because these jobs are damn hard. You have to have some level of life experience. And there's nothing in life that can prepare you for what these jobs actually are. At the end of the day, that's kind of where things are at this point in time. With everything that is ahead of them, I think it's foul. I think it's bullshit. I think it's nonsense. I think it's complete and utter garbage that she did not take the time to at least have a conversation with her head coach before sending him out there to answer questions at a press conference. I thought that was ass. Again, not AAS, but ASS. At this point in time, Nika says, Amy's got me effed up. I'm not buying one single Titans anything, tickets, merchandise, anything. Need to see some accountability, man. That's real. That's the most real way to impact change. I mean, she's trying to sell you all this Houston Oilers shit. I know it looks cool. I know many of you rock it. It's a really cool looking uniform. It's probably the coolest looking uniform in sports, and I think it takes some intestinal fortitude to say kick rocks. No, I'm not buying your shit anymore because your product on the field, the reason why I'm even remotely interested in your franchise, is trash and has been for a period of time. What are you doing to fix it? And why haven't you been better in the process of trying to fix it? Why are you not able to maintain the way that plenty of other stable NFL organizations are capable of maintaining a level? So yeah, I mean, the best way to speak is with your dollars or lack thereof if you want to meaningfully impact change. And I think, an empty stadium on Sunday certainly roots to that effect or hits home a little harder. I don't know if I'm not saying that you guys should boycott your favorite football team. You can make whatever decision you want to make at this point in time about however you want to try and impact change. But like, I made jokes about defunding the AFC South for how awful it was this year on social media. If you feel that way about the Tennessee Titans, that's entirely your choice to make. But this is what I'm like. This is what somebody said earlier about, definitely for how emotional or how upset I have been with them that I must be a Titans fan. No, you could not pay me to be a fan of this organization for the way that they treat their fans. I am not interested in being treated that way. I am not interested in being disrespected the way that I believe that you guys are being disrespected on a regular basis. I could not possibly bring myself to do that if I was even remotely interested in it. And I wouldn't do that even, covering them as my job. I would never be a fan of the team that I'm covering actively anyway. People can be fans of teams and then decide to put that aside and be professional about the way that they carry themselves. Or you can be a blind homer and do what you want. And those people exist in media too. But no, I am not actively interested in being disrespected the way that I have seen this organization consistently disrespect their fan base in the last couple of years. Just nonsense. So it's foul. Bert will give us what we missed this week in case you missed it here in just a second. He will do that for us right after I remind you that Bart Durham is one of our newest partners around here. The Bart Durham Injury Law Firm is here to help you. The results you deserve, right? We're talking about results that you deserve. When it comes to football, Bart Durham, unlike your football team, will deliver as your personal injury lawyer of choice. You understand that the Bart Durham brand has been around for a long, long time. They are an institution. More than 75 years of experience helping people just like you, whether it's auto, big truck, or motorcycle. Bart Durham and their incredible team are there to help you as personal injury attorneys serving both Tennessee and Kentucky. For those of you who are Titans fans to the north or who are in our listening area around Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky and the like, Bart Durham, led by Blair, Bart Durham Injury Law, led by his son Blair, because of course Bart passed away here in the last couple of years. Blair Durham and the rest of his team continue to serve at a high level on behalf of Middle Tennessee and Kentucky. BartDurham.com for more information today if you are in need of their assistance and their services. What do you got, Bert?
Oh, God, you guys are all so pathetic. It is the off season. All of this whiny shit needs to end.
Well, that's because you get to watch and your team play in the playoffs. Like, you know how long it's been? Bert, I've been doing this for 8 seasons. You know how long it's been since I've gotten to work in January, like meaningfully work in January, not just cover some petty little bullshit like who are you hiring, who are you firing, and, this lame-ass celebration of a number 1 overall pick. It's been three Januaries in a row I've been off. 3 Januaries in a row. You know what I would do to work a playoff game, a game of consequence, to cover a game that actually matters, other than the bullshit they've been dragging everybody through the last couple of years?
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
The Commanders haven't won a playoff game since like 2005. Like all these fans, like, we've sucked for 3 years. Oh my God! If it's like this next year, we won't have fans. I bet if it was like this next year, you didn't have fans, and the year after that, you had 11 wins. Every one of y'all would be back in the stadium. All of y'all just love bitching a little bit. I get it. It's the big bitch circle. Let's all get up and. I'm not talking about you so much as I am the fans. I understand why you're upset. It's really tough with your job. But for these people,
I'm being sarcastic because I swear to God, I will tear your head off. I will send your big purple ass to the shadows so fast.
There was another one in here. It's like, I can't keep doing this. Oh, yes, you can, and you will because you're a football fan. And if you want to buy their stuff, just buy it from China. Buy it from your local bootlegger who's selling the Titan stuff out of his trunk. You can still buy Titan stuff and it not help Amy out. You just have to buy it from the dude whose stuff might say Titans instead of Titans. Just slouch it up a little bit. So, and this brings us perfectly into our final question, which was, what was the most annoying part of the Titans season? For me, it was a whole lot of complaining, a whole lot of up, a whole lot of down. Not a whole lot of get off, whole lot of sit around and wait, whole lot of foreplay without any finish to it. You know what I mean? But for most Titans fans, I would think that the most annoying thing about this season would be J.J. Watt's whiny, bitchy ass whining about these Oiler uniforms. Dude, you left. Okay, I can't steal the whole shtick because Cork Bats did it a million times better than I could.
Person on the planet who has been louder than Cal McNair's extremely loud wife about the Texans, Titans, Houston Oilers jersey debate has been J.J. Watt. Never mind the fact that the Houston Oilers trademark, logo, and uniforms are owned by the Adams family, not the city of Houston. Old J.J. Watt, who hasn't played for the Texans since 2020, brings it up as much as he possibly can. As you can see from his tweet on Sunday, to me, it's giving guy who graduated from high school years ago but still hangs around the senior lot. It's like, dude, what are you still doing here? I mean, the man who's coming to the biggest defense of this laundry is the guy who literally requested his release from Houston. Can we set aside feelings for just 1 second and talk about this as grown adults? Literally, the franchise moved and left from Houston. And the Texans, an expansion franchise, is now up in arms that the uniforms don't belong to them. That's because, again, it's owned by the Adams family. I mean, JJ, you know about moving, considering you did it leaving Houston and going to Arizona. So the person who bought your house in Houston, did you leave all your clothes behind for them to keep and wear as if they were theirs? I mean, hell, the Texans had to petition to the league and get approval from the Adams family to add the little bit of Columbia blue trimming that they added to their uniforms this past year. And like, if we want to talk about real stolen valor, JJ, you're from Wisconsin. Those Love Ya Blue Houston Oilers uniforms probably meant as much to you as the TV show Ultimate Tag did to the rest of us. Maybe you should just put the phone down, because if you're here tweeting, who's out there flipping massive tires? That Fort Minor isn't going to listen to itself, JJ.
Yeah. For those of you and 100% reason to remember the name.
Oh, no.
JJ, stop.
Oh, no, J.J. Watt. I forget. J.J. Watt has been out of, like, I mean, I know he's been in the news cycle. I know he's doing TV, but, like, cringy J.J. Watt has been out of our lives for so long that it's. I need a reminder just how cringy he has been. And I mean, he was obviously an excellent football player. And, you know, if you're excellent at football, maybe you get to do what you want that way. But goddamn.
It's another reminder that not every athlete that you see on TV that is amazing at sports is cool. Like, we used to think Russell Wilson, he stole Sierra from Future. The dude must be slanging it. No, he's weird, painfully awkward. JJ, this dude's an animal. He must be a crazy man. Nope, he's late overdue for a lot of his library books.
The most interesting thing, the coolest Tom Brady's ever been is when he got drunk and tossed the
whole
Super Bowl
parade
trophy from boat to boat. That parade. That's other than that, Tom Brady is wholly uninteresting. Other than he's excellent at what he does, you can be excellent at what you do and not be interesting as a person.
Guy, and he's so bad. I know you haven't got to hear his games.
Brady?
He's so bad.
He's bad?
He is bad.
Well, see, this is the thing this is, again, I'm looking forward to being able to watch football like the rest of people do, because I've just been, you know, it is tough not being able to change the fucking channel. Oh, excuse me. It's a new year. I get a new F-bomb. Reset the board. Sorry.
All right, hold on. Everybody clean it off. 0 days since Buck's last accident.
Oh my God, I'm so happy I don't have to watch them anymore. I really am. I'm happy for you all. I'm happy for media. I'm happy for the players that they get the hell out of here for the foreseeable future. But that's what your organization has done to you and done to all of us. Anyway, that's what it is.
Well, that's the fun part. This is the fun part. All the despair, all anyone saying your team sucks, it's out the window, baby. Throw all that shit out the car door, because we're headed down the highway of success. I'm pumping this shit up. You thought last offseason they were going to be good? They're winning the I didn't do it, though. You said it. They're winning the Super Bowl this year. I don't give a damn who they draft.
Who's winning the Super Bowl this year?
The Titans. 2025. Where's the next Super Bowl at? Where's it? I'm pumping this up bigger than you. Call me Bert Nihil, because this offseason, I'm pumping this shit up. Oh, whoever they draft, whoever they sign, Titans are the biggest threat to democracy in the AFC. You wait until next year.
Fitting that you would do that on today of all days, that you would threaten democracy.
If the Titans were a Fox employee, they would be Joy Taylor.
Whoa!
Oh, that's too far.
What do you mean?
Hey, I guess she would cast someone aside as soon as they were not useful to her anymore. Oh, I've said too much. I'm going to get fired. Oh, no.
Get off the screen. I hate him so much. And no, the Titans are not winning the Super Bowl next year. If they do, I'll wear the Titans organization gave me a Buck Rising Show Oilers jersey. Well, Nate Bain did, not the Titans organization. Nate Bain, my friend, gave me an Oilers jersey with BR Show on the back of it last year while they were handing out Oilers gear. If the Titans win the Super Bowl, I'll wear the damn Oilers jersey. But fat chance, kids. Anyway, let's get out of here before Bert or I get canceled for God knows what next. Have a great rest of your evening. Radio show tomorrow. No prime time for me tonight or for me tomorrow night, unless something happens. If Ray Carthon gets fired, then I'll do the primetime show tomorrow, and we'll give Sam another night off. But so help me God, if they take my night off from me after all the shit that they put us all through this season, I'm going to be really, really pissed. I'll see you guys tomorrow in some form or fashion, and we'll be there to react to it all on 104.5 The Zone at 10 a.m.
Go home! Go home! Go home! You're embarrassing Nashville! Go home!